Galaxy S8 comes with Android 7 and the latest version of Samsung's TouchWiz. Here we have a standard lock screen. You can extend that to see our notifications. We can flip up. I'm going to use the new iris scanning feature to unlock the phone. With the move to on-screen controls, Samsung is now giving us some customization options. Diving into the Displace submenu allows us to reverse the recent and back buttons. You can also change the background color of the navigation bar, even setting a custom color. All of Samsung's apps, like the calendar here, or the dialer, handle the new rounded display corners just fine, even extending their background color all the way up into the rounded portion of the display. Some third-party apps don't work quite as well. Chrome, for example, doesn't extend the background up into this part of the display, stopping just short of the radius. Some apps may not handle the new aspect ratio. In those cases, you can go into the display menu and change which apps can use the full screen. By default, all of Samsung's apps are set to full screen mode, and you can toggle individual third-party apps to use full screen or 16:9 aspect ratios. While we're in the display menu, I'd like to point out the screen resolution setting. By default, the S8 runs at 2220 by 1080, not the full 2960 by 1440 resolution. This is likely an attempt to improve battery life. As usual, Samsung gives us plenty of options in the display settings. For starters, there's a blue light filter, which comes in handy if you want to read before bed. It obviously filters out blue light. You can adjust how much of an effect that has. You can also schedule it. You can just do sunrise to sunset or set a custom schedule. The S8 supports all the same screen modes that previous Galaxy devices have. There's adaptive display, cinema, photo, which is basically Adobe RGB, basic, which is sRGB mode. There's also a new color balance option. That's only available in the adaptive display, but this actually allows you to adjust the RGB balance, which is something that's new. They've never had that before. There's a few interesting things in the advanced features menu. One is the one-handed mode. There's a couple different ways to activate it. Using the gesture, you just swipe up from the corner, and you get a mini display that's easy to use with one hand. Finger sensor gestures. First, you have to be able to reach the fingerprint sensor. Still have the quick launch camera that you can activate with the power button twice. You used to be able to do that with the home button, but that's gone, so now you use the power button. Multi-window, I'll look at that in a second. And there's a few other options here. There's a new device maintenance section that pulls together a few different settings. You can find for the battery, you got different power saving modes. You can select individual apps to shut down and keep them from running in the background and using up your battery life. Under the advanced area, you can also disable fast cable charging if you don't want to be using that every time you plug your phone in. In the performance mode section, you got a few different choices here. Basically what this does is it's going to set the screen resolution. Again, I covered this before, but by default the S8 uses 2220 by 1080 resolution, not the full 2960 by 1440. There's also a video enhancer that's supposed to improve the image quality of your videos, UHQ upscaler, and then you can also turn the game launcher on or off. So there's a few different presets, or you can customize them. So opening up the recents menu, pretty standard stuff here. One thing you can do is use the multi-window feature. So you can put settings up top, we can select Chrome for the bottom. Using this slider, we can change how much of each app is displayed at one time. You can also swap apps top to bottom. You can turn one of the apps into a pop-up window. You can minimize it to an icon, bring it back up, take it back to full screen. So swiping down from the top, you get the notification shade, standard Android notifications, quick settings across the top. Pulling down again will expand the quick settings panel. You can swipe side to side to access additional settings. There's also some customization options here. You can change how many are displayed, and you can also rearrange the order. Another feature from previous Edge models are these edge panels. So swiping in from the right edge, this one is the apps edge. You can put in, obviously, shortcuts to your favorite apps. There's people edge. I don't have any friends. There's one for sports. You can set up your favorite sports teams and get scores. There's quick tools with a compass. There's also a ruler that can be kind of handy. And then you can also use it to turn on a flashlight. These are all customizable. There's plenty of other ones to choose from. Reminders, weather, calendar, news. You can also go to the Samsung store, legal information, sure. And there's other panels that are free, some you can purchase, but there's obviously a lot of different options.